Hey guys, welcome to another one. This time we're doing FTOC number 2, and it's pretty easy. I think it's easier. I think both of them are pretty straightforward, and I think you guys already have a lot of experience with this, so I think you guys will be all right. All right, let's get started. Don't use a calculator, guys. I guess if you're going to use a calculator, just use it just to add and subtract and multiply little numbers, but don't use the actual feature of the calculator to figure this out. I would greatly appreciate it, guys, because you're going to be taking exams where you're not going to have a calculator. All right, so here we go. So I want antiderivative of this guy, and I'm going to do upper minus lower. So I'm going to add 1 to that exponent. So 5x to the 7th divided by 7th. And I'm going to evaluate this from -1 to 0. And you always do the top first minus the bottom. So you can actually factor this out because it's both of the, think about it, sorry, I'm going really fast. If you think about it, both of these terms are going to have 5/7. So you can factor them out if you think it's going to make life simpler, and I think it will. So here I am factoring this out. 5/7, giant parenthesis, 0 to the 7th minus a -1 to the 7th. So 0 to the 7th is 0. -1 to an odd power is going to be negative, and negative times a negative is a positive. So I'm going to have 5/7 times a +1. So I'm going to have 5/7 as my answer. Cool, right? All right, I just need a swig of my little coffee here, guys. I got some coffee. Oh man, that's good coffee. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one. All right, next one. So before you do this one, guys, I would rewrite this as a exponent. So integral from 1 to 4, and you can actually put the 4 on the outside if you want. I'm going to keep it 4 to the 1/2, and then put the dx, and now we're ready. All right, so let's see. I'm going to add 1 to that exponent, so that's going to be, I'm going to keep the 4, x to, notice I left some space there, so I'm going to be multiplying. If I add 1 to 1/2, that's 3/2, and I'm going to divide by 3/2, which is the same as multiplying by 2/3. Keep, change, flip type of deal. And I'm going to evaluate this from 1 to 4. So I'm going to factor all this guy out. Now remember, that's a times, that's not a plus. So it's 4 times 2, that's an 8/3. So I'm going to write 8/3. I'm going to factor him out because both terms are going to have an 8/3, and I want to make life simple. So there's my 8/3, and then I do upper minus lower. 4 to the 3/2 minus 1 to the 3/2. So let me show you how to tackle this, guys. The 2 in the fraction means square root, and the 3 means to the 3rd power. So this 2 right here in the bottom, in the fraction, so that's the square root of 4. So here's what I'm going to have. 8/3, and then the square root of 4 is 2, and then 2 to the 3rd is 8. And then 1 raised to anything is still 1, so 8 minus 1. So then it becomes 8/3 times 7, and then you can just do 8 times 7. So what's that? 56/3. And there it is. Let's say we got the second one, guys. All right, let's go to the third. All right, before you do this one, bring that x cubed up. Integral 1 to 3 of 10x to the -3 plus 3x. And now we're ready. So here we go. Add 1, divide by that. So 10x to the -2 divided by -2 plus 3x squared over 2. And all this, since I have multiple terms, I'm going to put it in bracket from 1 to 3. All right, so now we're just going to have to leave it alone. Let's see, let's just simplify it a little more. I don't see any errors. So here's what I see. A negative, 2 goes into 10 5 times, so -5 over x squared plus 3/2 x squared, like so. 1 to 3. All right, let's do this. Plug in a 3. So here we go. My first parenthesis, -5 over 3 squared plus 3/2 3 squared minus -5 over 1 squared plus 3/2 1 squared. So let's see if we can do this. I haven't picked up a calculator yet, guys. Let's see if we can do this without a calculator. So let's see. This guy here is going to be -5/9 plus, and then 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So 27/2 minus, and then that's just going to be -5, and that's going to be a plus 3/2. I guess let's just do common denominator on everything. I see a 9. I see a 2. Okay. So let's see. All right. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add these two right here. So 27 over 2 minus, that's a minus a 3 over 2. So 27 minus 3, 1, 2, 3, that's 24 over 2, these two. And 24 over 2 is a 12. Okay, we got that out of the way. So now I have a negative 5/9, and when I distribute that negative, it's going to be a positive 5. So I'm going to go negative 5/9 plus, and I'm going to turn that 5 with a denominator in the 9. So 5 times 9 is 45. So 45 over 9. So there it is. All right. So now I'm just going to, I guess, add them. So you're going to get a positive, negative 5 plus 45 is a negative 40, is a positive 40 over 9. And I still have this 12 here. And remember, it was did it turn to a positive? So 40 over 9. So 40 over 9 plus 12. So I'm going to multiply 12 and 9. And 12 times 9 is 108. So 108 over 9. And 108 plus 40 is 148 over 9. And there it is. It is a little cumbersome, guys, without a calculator, as you saw. But I guess if you must use the calculator, just use it to just add, subtract, multiply, divide. But try to do as much as you can without a calculator. I'll probably start using a little calculator in a little bit. All right, here we go. No, not yet. This one's easy enough. All right, so again, let's rewrite this. I'm going to go in red. 0 to 1 of 8x to the 3/4 minus 4x to the half dx. And now we're ready. So I'm going to add 1 to that. So let's see, 8. I'm going to leave some space. X. If I add 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 7/4 divided by 7/4, which is the same thing as 4/7. And then I'm going to go minus 4. I'm going to leave a little bit of space. X to the 3/2 divided by 3/2, which is the same thing as 2/3. And all this is from 0 to 1. I don't have to worry about the 0. In this case, I just got to worry about the 1. Let's see, 8 times 4, 8, 16, 32. So 32 over 7, x to the 7/4 minus 8 over 3, x to the 3/2. And again, to be mathematically correct, there it is. And I'm going to just do the 1. You don't have to worry about the 0. So here we go. 32 over 7 minus 8 over 3. So I'm going to get a common denominator, guys. So it looks like it's going to be 21. So multiply this by 3 over 3 and multiply this guy by 7 over 7. So 32 times 3, let's see, 30, 60, 90, and then 2, 4, 6. So it's going to be 96 over 21 minus, and then 8 times 7. So what's that, 56 over 21. And 96 minus 56, the difference, 56, 66, 76, 86, 96. The difference is 40. So 40 over 21. So there it is. All right, let's keep going. You actually could do this one with U substitution, but we haven't talked about that yet. So then we're going to have to use the skills that we know already right now. So just distribute that. So here we go. Integral from 1 to 2 of 4x cubed plus 8x. And we just take an antiderivative. So it looks straightforward. 4x to the 4th over 4 plus 8x squared over 2. And don't worry, guys, I'm going to simplify it. So that is x to the 4th plus 4x squared. All right, upper minus lower. So let's see, 2 to the 4th. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So I have 16 minus, let's see, 2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So actually 16 plus 16, my apologies. Minus, and then I'm plugging a 1, and I'm going to get a 1 plus 4. So this guy is 32. And then this guy is a 5. And then 32 minus 5 is 27. Alright, let's keep going. Unit circle never goes away. If you want, you can move the 6 to the outside or leave it alone. It doesn't matter. Antiderivative of secant x tan x is secant x. You got to think backwards, guys. The derivative of secant is secant x tan x. So this answer is going to be 6 secant x. and I'm evaluating this from 0 to pi over 3. If it helps you, leave the 6 factored out. There it is, 6 factored out, and I'm going to do upper minus lower. So secant of pi over 3 minus secant of 0. So the unit circle never goes away, guys. So in the unit circle, pi over 3 is this guy way up here, and the x-coordinate is a half, and the y-coordinate is square root of 3 over 2. So what you want to do is secant the reciprocal of cosine. So the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. So I'm going to write 2. And then secant of 0, 0 is right here. And that's the reciprocal. Remember, it's the reciprocal of cosine. Cosine is 1, and the reciprocal of 1 is itself, 1. So you get 6 times 1, which is just 6. All right, let's keep going. Again, you can move the 3/2 to the outside if you want, if it makes life simpler for you. I'm going to leave it alone. It's not a big deal to me. 3/2 antiderivative of cosine is sine of x, and I left some room just in case I had to multiply by a negative or something. I would have put parentheses. So the derivative of sine is cosine, so I'm good. And then I just go 0 to pi, and then I say, okay, I'm going to factor out the 3/2 just in case. All right, so here we go. Sine of pi minus sine of 0. And I guess to be technically correct there. And sine of pi is 0, and then sine of 0 is again 0. So you get 0 times 3/2, so I get 0 again. There we go. Let's go to the next one. All right, this one, if you get a quadratic, guys, you're going to have to break it up. I got lucky here. I got a linear, x minus 2. So x minus 2 looks like this. Here's 2, slope of 1, slope of 1. All right, they want me to go from 1 to 4. So 1 and then 4 is right there. All right, so at 1, that value is 1, I believe. Let's see, 1 minus 2, negative 1, absolutely, yeah. So I don't know if you can see, but I just have a triangle right there. So that triangle, let's see, that width is 1, that height is 1. 1 times 1 is 1 times divided by 2. So that's 0.5. All right, now let's do the other triangle here, 2 to 4. So this width is 2, and that height is 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So there we go, that's 2. So I'm going to add these guys together. So 2 plus 1/2 is 5 over 2. And there it is. Alright, so this is called a piecewise function, guys. So we have all these pieces here. So let's do a little sketch, because I know some of you guys are visual learners. So here's my little sketch. I have a linear line from -2 to 0. So at -2, the height is 2. So -2, height of 2. And at 0, I'm at 4. So it looked like something like this. So there it is. And then from 0 to 1, that's a 4, by the way, up there, and that's a 2. All right, and then from 0 to 1, you're at 4 all the time. So I'm going to say 1's like right there. And then from 1 to 4, let's see, 8 minus 4 is 4 again, so I'm up here. And at 4 times 4 is 16, and 8 minus 16 is -8. So let's see, 8 minus 16, I'm going to say -8 is like right here. And then we just, there it is. All right, they want all this area. I'm looking and I can see that I have a triangle here. So I'm going to calculate the area of that triangle, and I can see that I have like a trapezoid and a rectangle right. So yeah, so I'm going to calculate, let's see, what am I going to calculate? I'm going to calculate this from 0 to 1. There we go. Now it's a lot simpler. I'm going to calculate this rectangle. I'm going to calculate this trapezoid. You can also break that up into a, I guess, a rectangle or a triangle, because I didn't draw it to scale. It might be a square. and then that triangle and that triangle. All right, let's see. This width here, from -2 to 1, that's a 3, and then 3 times 2 is 6. So all this right here is 6. And now let's see what this guy is up here. This base is a 1. This base down here is a 3. And then my height goes from 2 to 4, so my height is 2. So let's see, 2, and then 1 plus 3 divided by 2. So this guy right here is 4. All this in red. All right, let's do the blue guy here. I'm gonna make this blue. You actually cross the x-axis at, let's see, 4 times 2 is 8. So this is a 2. So that's the width of this triangle is 1. The height is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. Divided by 2 is 2. So this right here in blue is all, that area is just 2. And then again, let's go, I'm going to use black. This width here between 2 and 4, that's a 2. And then this height here is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So there you go. All right, let's add them up, guys. Let's add them up. 6 plus 4 plus 2 minus 8. The minus 8 is because it's below the x-axis, guys. 6 and 4 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. So the answer is 4. All right, this one, they give me f of x. This is the graph of f of x, little f, and they're calling this equation, this is a general equation, and they're calling that big F of x. Let's see what they want. They want f of 3. So wherever you see an x, I'm going to plug in a 3. So I want the integral from 0 to 3 of this guy, f of t dt. Okay, that's not a problem. I want this area, and I want this area, and I'm going to add those up. So if it's above the x-axis, it's positive. If it's below the x-axis, it's negative. I see a trapezoid. So let's see, the height of this trapezoid is 1. And then with this base up here is a 1. This base down here is a 2. I'm just doing the area of a trapezoid, guys. Height, base 1 plus base 2, all that divided by 2. And now let's do this guy in blue. And that's just a triangle. So this width is 1, that height is 1, 1 times 1 is 1, but then divided by 2, that's a negative half, so I'm going to subtract half. So let's see, 2 plus 1 is 3, so I have 3 halves minus a half. And I'm sorry, I should have probably color coded this better. 3 halves minus a half. So 3 minus 1 is 2, so 2 over 2, so I got a 1. And there it is. Alright guys, I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed this UH quiz. I hope it wasn't too shabby for you. Try to do as much as you can without a calculator, guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Or I'll see you guys soon. Or maybe you're watching this video on a Monday. And, you know, so I'm already seeing you. Ha! Okay, that wasn't weird at all. Alright guys, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.